Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine issue number 7, and this one is inside cover dated late November 1988. The cover is by Bob Layton, pencils and inks by him, and it features Wolverine, and that is Jessan Hoan, who has fallen into Madripoor Bay after the explosion of the ship that they were on in the previous issue. So there's a bit of artistic license involved here with Wolverine in his regular X-Men costume, which is not featured in the interior story. This is also a wraparound cover, and on the back there you can see the other 3 characters that are featured in the 8-page stories in this anthology. So let's open this one up to the inside credits page. And you can see here that we are up to, part 7 of Wolverine Save the Tyger. And the creative credits are Chris Claremont, writer. And now we're getting breakdowns from John Buscema. So previously he was doing full pencils, now breakdowns only. And Klaus Janson is finishing the art. And that implies that maybe Buscema's schedule was a little bit too packed in order to continue producing full pencils, and or he felt confident seeing the work that Janson was producing that he could let Janson handle the finishes over his pencils, that he would be happy with that. The letterer is Lois Buhalis, also a change from the foregoing creative team, which had Tom Orzechowski doing the lettering. Lois Buhalis is Tom Orzechowski's wife, so they're a husband-wife lettering team. And colorist Glynis Oliver rounding out the creators of this 8-page story. So the little blurb here, Things Get Worse, that's the title of it up there. And the little blurb is, Roche makes his move to smash the Tyger's newborn organization by killing everyone even remotely connected with his rival, and starting with the Tyger himself. So, great splash page here. Really love the colors by Glynis Oliver, giving us a sense of the underwater of Madripoor Bay. We've got the seaweed there. I love the inking by Klaus Janson. Definitely using a brush on this, but you get really fine hatching there for Wolverine's shoulder muscle as well, just indicating the tone of his shoulder muscle. You really do get a sense of the characters here in water, suspended in water, and Wolverine giving the kiss of life to Jessan under the sea. So I do like the first person narration here that Claremont has written for Wolverine, that gives us a little catch up on the situation. She's Jessan Hoan, I'm Wolverine. By rights, we should both be history, but fate's a fickle dame. She'll do the darndest thing sometimes to keep her great game interesting. Under the circumstances, I don't mind one bit. That's really good stuff. And of course, Claremont leaning into detective fiction and mystery here in this particular storyline for Wolverine. No costumes, no adamantium claws, at least not explicitly. Wolverine doing everything just by virtue of his, how shall I put it, like his intelligence and his toughness, put it that way. So let's get into the story. This is the aftermath of the explosion that occurred at the end of the previous issue. We got a little reprise of that, but we see what actually happened and how come they're alive. Lots of activity overhead, continues Wolverine in the first person narration. Too much to risk surfacing. Not here, not yet. Been maybe 100 seconds since we hit the water. Jess and I, we'd gone aboard this junk she said was skippered by a smuggler pal. Found the crew dead, the boat booby-trapped. Now this was a little detail that I was wondering about in the previous issue or the previous chapter. What was the mechanism of setting off the fuses on the sticks of dynamite? And then there's cases of explosives that are going to blow when those 2 sticks go off. And here we see it here included in the art by Buscema. We couldn't see it in the previous chapter. Wolverine continues, Don't think I've ever moved that fast. Didn't even realize what I was doing till long after it was done. No time to save the captain. We were barely able to save ourselves. So he pulled her out of there, below decks, pulled her up onto the upper deck and over the side of the junk. We were barely able to save ourselves, dove deep and swam as far as I could, sharing my breath so she wouldn't drown before coming up slow in the lee of another junk. So that's really interesting. You're getting like Claremont thinking out the procedural of how one would stay undercover under the water, and also Wolverine concerned for their safety and stealth. And also a very technical term there, lee, that's the shelter provided by a break wall, or in this case the side of the boat, from the wind, and also from being observed. Sudden sensation of fresh air prompts an instinctive gulp gasp reflex. Again, more procedural stuff from Claremont, really thinking this through. Sound carries over water at night, can't allow even the slightest peep. My hand clamped tight over her mouth brings her wide awake, but she's as smart as she is tough, immediately realizing where we are, as well as the need for silence. So I really admire this from Claremont. He's working with a master storyteller in the form of John Buscema. There is no need for any exposition that would describe what we're seeing in the art. So there's a nice balance here in terms of adding to the depth of the story in Wolverine's first person narration, to the fact that this business here is all about keeping quiet and not being spotted by Roche's men who are searching around for bodies. And Jessan here thinking of her smuggler friend, poor Lee, the look in his eyes as I came through the door, hard to believe we're still alive. And that's again really nice by Claremont too. The kind of the human situation of the captain there, tied up to the back of the chair. He's dead meat. He knows he's in for it. And even though we don't see the look in his eyes exactly, Jessan describing it there, and she's kind of like horrified by the whole situation. But they're alive. Really like the detail here, the almost stippling for the surface of the water here in the bay. And Wolverine whispering too, so we can see that with the speech balloons. These are indicating with the broken line that they're whispering. Again, they don't want to be seen or heard. Don't jump for joy yet, darling, says Wolverine. Roche's punk boys aren't taking anything for granted. Neither are we. We take our time heading for shore, using the boats, crowding the Dagger Bay anchorage for cover. Again, more of this procedural business here. And then finally, they're getting up on the dock. Jess follows my lead all the way, does a pretty fair job of watching our back. She knows what she's about. So that's it for the first person narration. Now they're going to have some dialogue. They're out of earshot of Roche's men. Wharf's deserted, says Logan. We're in the clear. Love the detail of the water that is sloughing off their clothes and dripping onto the boardwalk there, the wooden dock. How can you be sure, she asks him. I'm a mutant, remember, I'd smell him. It's your move now, Jess. I was thinking about this one before making the review. Is this a little bit like exposition, just giving this information to the first-time reader? Or does it make sense that, they don't know each other that, too long, really, just over a week? And does it make sense that he would remind her of that? Because he hasn't been popping his claws or doing anything of that nature. And it did take him quite some time to recover from the ordeal that he was put through by Roche's inquisitor and torturer. It's your move now, Jess, he says. What do you mean, she asks. You're the Tyger, the baby crime lord who's challenging Roche for control of the Madripoor underworld. Only it looks like Roche has decided to end the war quick as he can, any way he can. You got two options, and he really boils it down here: cut and run or fight. And I like the colouring here. I like this implication of the nighttime with the light blue on one side of Wolverine's body there. So the light source coming maybe from the moon. So we've got flesh color on one side, but the blue of the night on the other. That's really well done by Glenn Oliver and the colors. Now you can see that there's a lot of storytelling going on these couple of pages here to the end of this chapter. So Claremont giving Buscema maybe quite a lot in the plot, and Buscema not exactly able to lay it all out in the classic 6-panel grid. So he is using more panels than maybe we've seen heretofore. Jessan responds here. I really like that 3/4 side profile of her. Whatever I decide, my friend, it's no longer any concern of yours. You saved my life, that cancels our debt. You're free to go. So previously, she made much of the fact that Wolverine was in her debt, but now she's cancelling it. It seems as if she's kind of lost the taste for taking on Roche. And Wolverine is almost, in a sense, like creating, or how shall I put this? It's kind of a subtle exhortation. He's exhorting her in a way to get back in the fight. I'm a good guy, Jess, he says. My job's putting people like Roche out of business, and I don't leave jobs half finished. See what I mean? So he's kind of implying that she might be leaving the job half finished herself if she doesn't include him in the fight. And she responds, interesting choice here to have them both in silhouette as well. I'm just like him, Wolverine. And he replies, and this is a point he's made before, if you are Tyger, then you'll end the same way, as in dead or out of business. So then the scene shifts to, it's a Comics Code approved comic, but this is a brothel in Madripoor, Lowtown, Madame Joy's later that evening. So the Madame in question is, how will I put it, angry and questioning Roche's men in terms of what they're doing there. She's thrown over the balcony here out onto the street. Your worst nightmare, says one of Roche's men. You want to hook up with the Tyger instead of Mr. Roche? You better be prepared to pay the price. That's a really nice shot there. I like the angle used. I like the fact that Buscema is indicating, that the rough treatment of the girls is going on inside the building as well. So the woman is tossed on her head over the balcony onto the ground. She survives the fall. It must just be one story up. And then they're all lined up against the wall outside. And it looks like they're going to be executed. Nothing personal, you understand, says the thug lady. Strictly business. Boss is making an example. Operation Scorched Earth. If you're not his friend, you're an enemy. And tonight, all his enemies die. So one of the prostitutes makes a run for it. I like the little detail of her shoe falling off there as well as she's running towards the police. But they've been paid off. And you can see them counting their money there as well. And so she runs down this alley. Really like the colouring here too. The flesh, the pink, the blue, and then the thug racing down the alley after her. So how come he can't catch her? She's running with one shoe on and one off. And it's because of the cigarettes. I like that little detail. And also look at the colouring, like the swimming speech balloon as she's running in panic. No one will hide you, puffs as the guy stinking cigarettes. And this is an interesting choice here. So we're looking down at a roof. We're looking down from the perspective of a rooftop, and the alley's in complete shadow. And the guy is continuing, do us both a favour, pant, you're just making it harder on. And then he stopped. He was about to say yourself. He stopped, and then we see a familiar sound effect, snicked. And Glenn Oliver has coloured it yellow and then red, blood red there. That's really, really well done. Then we're back out on the street. The madame and her girls are about to be executed, but someone emerges from the shadows of the alley. Initially, this guy thinks it's his compatriot, but it's not. It is Jessan, and she's grabbed the other guy's gun and starts blasting the men on the street, killing them. Now it's your turn, she says. I like the dialogue too. Your friends already met his maker, dog sons. Now it's your turn. Let's continue with this. Yeah, you can see, again, like I was saying earlier, a lot of panels on these pages, more than I've seen before from Buscema. So again, that's an indication of a fairly detailed plot for him to try and lay out. Now we're into Wolverine's first person narration again. Punk boys are too rattled by our attack to shoot straight. They're fat and slow and sloppy, too used to opposition that won't fight back. Classic Linus Oliver trope here, as Wolverine smashes his fist right into this guy's nose, breaks his nose. The red background. She always does that for moments of violence or extremely heightened violent emotion. In this case, it's literal violence. What a great shot there. You can really feel that nose crunching the teeth too. Jess lives up to her namesake. Says Wolverine in his first person narration is ferocious as a tiger and easily as deadly. This is classic Buscema body acting here, where she is basically horizontal, leaning forward, shooting these guys in the guts, in the stomachs. So they're dead in the street. In less than a minute, the firefight's history, along with all of the punk boys, save one, the leader. I took special care to keep him safe. That just makes me laugh. So Logan asked the guy, I want information, Bob, about your boss and his plans. And the guy just shoots this bloody phlegm onto our saliva onto Wolverine's cheek. He isn't of a mind to be cooperative. Well, that's one way to put it. Wolverine there gesturing with his thumb. You want to play the hero, fine by me, but if I can't persuade you to talk, I better know someone who can. So now the madame and her prostitutes are going to take care of this guy, and so he decides, I'll talk. Roche knows who the Tyger is, going to make an example of his execution. Asks Logan, yeah, it's that saloon keeper, O'Donnell. So we met O'Donnell in the first part of the story, Save the Tyger, and Logan reacts instantly. Where is he? Roche's villa, says the thug. Please, you promised, said you wouldn't kill, and I'm a man of my word. Nice top-down angle here as Logan throws him onto the sidewalk. So you better run, boy, while you got the chance. So he gets up, but Jessan stops him with a knife in the gut, or maybe in the heart, actually. You can tell your master. So basically she says, you can tell your master when you welcome him to hell. You promised Wolverine, I did not, and I swear by all I hold holy, Roche will get the same. So if Jessan was kind of like half-hearted, having survived the explosion, about continuing to take down Roche, she is absolutely back in the game now by this point. Really like that panel too. What I like in particular is the colors, the purple, the orange of the moon, the green here on the side of the buildings there. That's nice, conveying that kind of nighttime lighting. So last page now, again, plenty of panels here. So this is O'Donnell. He's tied up. He's taken a beating. You can really see that on the face there. The blood streaming from his nose. That's nicely done. Here's that Linus Oliver trope again there, as Razor Fist slashes by O'Donnell's neck, but misses deliberately. And you've got the red background. You can see that, like I was just talking about. So anyway, this is Sapphire Styx, and she's there with Roche. She's his woman. She's the one who basically used her perhaps mutant power to knock out Wolverine before, and she may have done the same, I think, is the implication, to O'Donnell to get him up to the villa, Roche's villa. So O'Donnell here, defiant. Better watch yourself, Roche. Don't forget the Tyger is a cat, and cats have 9 lives. So Razor Fist winding up there to chop his head off, but it doesn't happen. It's a feinted blow. Sapphire Styx thinks he missed. He didn't. Fool, exclaims Roche. After the trouble you've caused me, did you truly believe I'd grant so quick and clean an end? Looks like something might have been erased there, whited out. I wonder what it could have been. An adjective, perhaps? No such luck, O'Donnell. For you, the torment has not even begun. Kill him slowly, Inquisitor. Before he dies, I want the whole city to hear him scream and know once and for all, who is the master here? And look at the little smile there, the smirk on the Inquisitor's face. We still don't know this guy's name, just that he is a torturer. So obviously we could expect in the next issue Wolverine and the Tyger to come to the rescue for O'Donnell, but will they be in time? Next issue, the fight. Well, I do hope that you enjoyed this review and commentary on Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine number 7. Let me know your thoughts on this issue, this chapter of Save the Tyger in the comments section. If you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like and share the video. It really does help the channel. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.